What is up, Moody?
What's up? What's up?
Late start time again.
Yeah, but we're respectable adult males. We do
Exactly. I mean, but again, that's what happens when you go to sleep at super late in the morning.
which is still a respectable time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But pretty light this week. Don't want to be too intense going through this week, but I do got a Percy. Been on my anime, you know, uh binge. Finished this relatively definitely I would consider a new anime. Frieren at Journey's End.
Okay.
It's only 28 episodes out right now. I don't know if I told you about this one, but basically the premise is episode one is like they start at, I mean, it is the Journey's End. They defeated the Demon King. They defeated the big bad already. So basically the main character is Freyren and elf mage. And she's like, oh, it was good, traveling with y'all. I'll see you all in 50 years. All her party is humans. And I'm like, yo, what the, hold on a second. And when she comes back, they're all old and shit. And then when they start dying, she's like, damn, I should have cherished them more. So it becomes like a slice of life, kind of like you follow this elf on her emotional, not stability, but emotional growth journey with companions around her because, she lives for like 2,000, 5,000 years or whatever. So nothing can really do anything to her unless she is actually killed. So, but I just finished this arc where this young mage that she's been training passes her like mage exam basically, and it's like, oh, I can feel this, like, give me at the pace of like new age anime that like a lot of people are behind, like the Attack on Titans and like Fire Forces and stuff like that. They're pretty short, as I would explain to you, like versus like the long ones like Naruto or DBZ. Like they're usually like 70, 80 episodes even at the most. So I'm like, yeah, I can see Forever like hitting a sweet spot of like, we're probably gonna get some more action. Like I could see 3 more seasons of this, land around 60, 70. I think it'll be dope. But like you look at it right now, I know you're a ratings person. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 100% right now.
Okay.
So it's just that.
How long has it been out?
Just last year. So I'm late. I'm even late to it, but it's on Netflix.
So to be a year and it still has like 100%, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So a lot of people are behind, at least, anime community. So just to bring it up, because I am still supposed to be going to see Demon Slayer tonight with the missus. So
okay, nice.
See Infinity Castle. So but yeah, I've just been on my anime shit. So that was my back from the couch, but anime edition. I finished that chapter of that anime, everything they put out now. So that's my suggestion.
Oh,
Frieren at Journey's End. You can watch it on Netflix or any of your.
Is it Netflix anime, like animated, or is it like Netflix?
No. This was originally a Japanese manga that it's on Netflix, but it's on Crunchyroll. It's on it.
Okay. So. Oh. Yeah, I don't really have much, but I do want to give free promo shout out to Secret Base.
Oh yeah,
and that's their content, man. Because we've been fans of Secret Base for a minute.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
over half a decade for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, been watching a lot of their clips. I can imagine just go through them like, yeah, I've seen that. But especially John Bois and the whole team out there that do all the like deep dive essay videos about some obscure subject. Like they just finished Scorigami.
Yeah.
Part 4 was insane when they were talking about the future and all the practicalities of getting to certain Scorigamis and when are we going to see certain numbers happen. And it's just like the fact that they did all that math.
And the forbidden score. Yeah. That is possible, but absolutely impossible, which, I'm like you said, just shout out to them. I don't want to ruin that score, but go watch the Scorigami series on Secret Base's YouTube channel.
A lot of Secret Base. Fumble Dimension, like
all. I love Fumble Dimension. That's my favorite.
Shout out to Kofi.
Yeah,
check him out on YouTube.
Fumble Dimension is great.
Shout out to all those that make the weird, obscure kind of sports content.
Yeah,
that real diehards really would appreciate. Just like, man, this is so nerdy, but it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of the, especially the long form ones, like the Seattle Mariners one, not Seattle, Seattle Mariners.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
I love the one where the dude was going for his no hitter or like a perfect game.
Yeah.
It was like Dave Stoops, like perfect game, and whatnot. It's like a 4-parter, man. I was so invested in it because I thought it was a whole series of this dude not getting a no hitter. And then when he got it, I was like, oh snap! I was hyped for him. I was like, I didn't expect this moment. This man tried so many times, and he finally got it.
It's dope that, basically, because like them, like you said, with their research, beyond the nerdy stuff, But like, hey, it's generational, right? There's no way that you could know the history of like what this movement means. So for them to actually do the due diligence of giving you as much possible context, set up for this moment. That's like a lot of their content, like beef and a moment in history. That's exactly what
rewind
that is.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, so
shout out to them.
Great sports researchers for sure.
For sure. So shout out to Secret Base, Kofi, former Secret Base member, but doing his dope stuff over on his channel with Pros versus Joes and all the other stuff he's doing
right now. But thank you for joining us here on episode 65, our Lane Johnson episode. Let's start it.
Doors opening. Step back to allow customers to exit.
Brown. Hey. And
Pro. Moody. Pro. That's
the Avenue. Wrestle. Wow.
Follow us on our socials. Here on this channel, like, comment, subscribe to all the social engagement things. And send us an email at thewrestlingreap@gmail.com.
Weird intro. Not intro. The video messed up because my headphones just died.
Oh, but I didn't realize you could hear it. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't want to have the echo, so I'm going to go quickly after I cut through this intro. But yeah, episode 65 of the Wrestling Rehab Podcast. Got a chill week of wrestling, I feel like.
Yeah.
Not much that really, we've had a busy couple weeks as far as the news cycle and some of the in-ring stuff. But I feel like right now we're just kind of pacing ourselves until next week when we get to we got, is it next week or 2 weeks? I feel like they're at the same time again.
Wrestle Dream and
Crown Jewel.
Yeah. I feel like it is.
The Crown Jewel, Wrestle Dream we saw was the 18th.
18th, yeah.
Crown Jewel, I feel like it's like the same time, but I think they talk about this next week because they said that that's where the tag team match is going to happen.
The 11th.
So
a week before.
So we still got, we're on our roads to both of those kind of pop-up shows that are coming up. But go ahead, take it away while I go switch out these headphones.
All right, for sure. Let's start our NXT No Mercy recap, which, we already knew that we were going in there with a tie on the season. So just to recap the score, total, Samson, you are 4-5-5, and I am 5-4-5. We were both 4-2. But we got Javon Evans over Josh Briggs. We got right. We had Laney Reed actually beating Sol Ruka. But what we ended up getting was because Laney Reed hurt herself.
Yeah, it was Sol Ruka beat Jada Parker.
Yeah, but what we had set up was Laney Reed. Yeah. But like I said, she got hurt prior to, so we would have been wrong about that. Or we assume we would have been wrong about that anyway, right? She was booked to win anyway, right?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear anything about who was booked to win that.
But either way, still a surprise to me. But I hope she gets well soon. Obviously, here. Felt like it was pretty obvious, but the weaponized steel cage match, Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe.
Her leg back. They're 1-1 right now, so there's got to be a grudge match.
Yeah,
still fun nonetheless.
If you think we're gonna escalate it one more time, but it's like, okay, weaponized steel cage. I think that's because that's steel cage plus, and steel cage used to be that was Hell in a Cell before Hell in a Cell. You know what I'm saying? That was like the original blow off. But all ego, there was no doubt. Like Tavion Heights wasn't taking it off of him, but they have, he's done his damnedest with them in this rivalry.
Yeah, it's a good rivalry. Yeah, a good rivalry. It's at least got attention for Tavion Heights. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
It's solidifying him.
I don't have expectations of him knocking off Ethan Ego Page.
Yeah, but this is the first thing I can remember of him doing since leaving No Quarter Catch Crew, though.
This is his first, thing out from them. So yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so but it's helping solidify him. I appreciate that. We had JC Jane retaining against Lola Vice.
Yes. And with the help of a masked figure at the time.
Yeah.
Who
was revealed to be Laney Reed.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
But Apparently,
on
she was
NXT.
actually like coming out. She had like a sprained ankle or something like that. That's why she was taking out the match, and that's why she didn't reveal herself because it wasn't her in that moment. It was somebody else.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because she didn't actually do the run in, but they're pitching it as her because she's supposed to have done the run in if she wasn't her.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Gotcha. And
it was always gonna be her.
Yeah,
but that's how it worked out. But nonetheless, JC Jane retains over Lola Vice, which means, I mean, like at the end of the day, Lola Vice still has claim to get.
Oh yeah, as far as like losing, interference,
loss,
yeah, exactly.
Now, yeah, we'll get to it. I was actually not like surprised. Did I say Mark Sanchez got stabbed?
What?
That was a Bleacher Report thing. I'll look at that afterwards.
Okay, I'm like, what in the world? But I mean, the news from this show.
Yeah, but I wanted to finish my point.
Oh, sorry.
With the Lola Vice, yeah.
She's protected still. You were saying.
I thought that when on NXT, she got a pretty big pop when she got called on to the Team NXT for that Survivor Series elimination match. Like when JC Jane called out her name, I was like, oh wow, like the crowd is like really behind Lola Vice. So it's good to see that like she's able to like seems everyone is getting more comfortable with the character, her and fans alike. So shout out to Lola Vice. Let's see.
I mean, I feel comfortable saying she's at like the top of the card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think this past week officially for me established that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've thought about that.
I thought she was like fighting up to get there, but like now I'm like, okay, now she's at like there. Like I feel like it's a little bit more credibility for her to like actually hold the title, even in a loss like this, where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, honestly, yeah, because I've believed Lola as like an NXT, main eventer, or could hold the title for at least like a year.
Really? Okay.
Literally, like since like she was challenging Roxanne. Yeah, I would have believed it back then. I mean, Roxanne was like on a beast run because she's a 2-time NXT Women's Champion too. So, I think to me it just feels like because it is, the developmental. I have that like fourth wall breaking knowledge of it, and just know that like once again, like Jada Parker, like at any point in time, I feel like because she's slotted in that top of the card too. Like I feel like that's a little bit more fresh for me, but like all of her like rivalries have been good. Like anytime Lola's been in the ring, it's been great. So that's why I was like, she's in that top 4 of like, could hold the title at any point in time. But it's interesting to hear you say that. So,
but yeah, the biggest news to come out of No Mercy is new NXT champion, men's champion, and Ricky Saints dethroning Oba Femi.
Yeah,
and we briefly talked about it last week. Obviously, none of us committed to it because we were like, we just don't know who could take off, who could beat.
You respect the champion, you say not the first time. Yeah,
Oba Femi is just like has been on such a dominant run that it's just like I wouldn't have been surprised, obviously, if Ricky won, but it's hard for me to bet against Oba Femi. And Ricky Saints pulled it off. We were surprised because I think we were just come back from like DC, so we missed a little bit more of the show. So when we caught the replay of that, we were just like, "What?
Yeah,
that's crazy."
Because if anything, I like the way they did it, just because it's like, all right, when they have been setting up once again, like CM Punk would be mad at me, but talking about like a move list, I keep track of that shit in my head, or like when somebody's like pinning you with something different, like I keep track of that. So it's like knowing that the tornado DDT was part of his repertoire, but he came in with the Rochambeau, which is like that running reverse dominator thing, and it's like even when he was doing that in AEW, it's like he could get that on bigger guys, but you're like, bro, like Oba. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when he starts doing the tornado DDT and you see him just spam it, it's like, that makes a lot more sense than you like trying to get Oba up like 3 times for that. It's better to like, it was surprising that it was just like a DDT and then a follow-up tornado more than anything. I would have thought you would have had to like, Brock Lesnar 4 F5s him, or like 4, or like Seth would stomp you like 3 times in a row. At least 3, I would have took. But especially for it to be such a sick, basic, 80s Jake the Snake move, because you put that spin on it, you add that rotation, it's more impactful. And Oba sold the hell out of it too. So I'm glad we didn't see him on NXT this week. That doesn't ruin anything. But hopefully he's going up to the main roster. I mean, he could still be down there, but
he might have one more match, and maybe Ricky might solidify it with him, and then maybe he goes up there.
I feel like I'm not gonna fight it. It's like I don't want to spend too much time on this specifically, but I just think I'll just keep it simple at like when you're able to beat like a Brock, like the Beast type, which Oba Femi exactly was that, and like you said, super dominant. I think it's better that you kind of like. I feel it's like ripping the Band-Aid off because you wear like if he challenges again and loses, you're wearing down the visage of like this dominant person. You know what I'm saying?
No.
If he goes down, if he challenges Ricky again and Ricky spams 4 times and pins him again, that doesn't like. I mean, that's what I believe.
Like, he has to finish that same way. It could be. I don't know what the stipulations were, or it could be, or whatnot, but there could be another way that you could just like
you're right,
last man standing match or something like that.
You're right. There's a way to do it. I'm just saying that, like, once again, I would bring up Kenny and Okada. It took Kenny a minute, so yeah, there's a way to do it. It's just when I think about his shoulders on the mat, though, like just a clean pin like that, I'm like, whew, that's tough. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
like,
it's great. Maybe Ricky pulls out another finisher move that, like, debut something else.
Maybe. But yeah, for now, and going forward, Ricky Saints is the NXT champion. Biggest news of that show for sure.
Yeah, and we got more to talk about with Ricky Saints, especially as it relates to when we get to NXT and talking about the summit.
Yeah,
that occurred.
I enjoyed.
But let's get into the flagship show, Monday Night Raw.
I had it graded the highest. We agreed on everything in our usual rankings, but I just had Dom getting his, as I would say, clean enough as a heel win. No outside interference, but beating Rusev. I love that, running for his life, and like his closest Eddie impersonation when clear as day. I'm thinking in the moment, like when Rusev has his back turned and like Dom hits him with the Intercontinental title in it. And it doesn't do anything because it's like Rusev just has the thickest neck, which I thought that was funny. But also the ref just seeing it like clear as day. And I'm like, why didn't you disqualify him?
He knew because he didn't hit him. So it's like, you can't really disqualify for that. Like, nobody used the belt.
He did hit him, though. He hit him in the back of the head with it.
He didn't see that part. What he was saying, he's like, what I saw was like, I saw him try to do the Eddie thing where he falls back and he strokes the belt.
Sure.
And he's like, dude, I know he didn't hit you with the belt. I saw you. And that was what I was actually glad about. Where I'm like, usually the ref would be dumb enough to be like, oh, what? Ring the bell, disqualification. Yeah. But I was like, I'm glad he was like, yo, what are you talking about? I saw you. And then it was something else that caused Dominic to end up eventually getting the win.
Another cheating tactic. Yeah. But that's why I liked it so much, because he was like, in that other sense, like spamming Eddie's cheating, like the cheating finisher. So I guess that was, maybe I'll have to look at it again, because I'm pretty sure that the ref saw like the sequence of him hitting Rusev with the title. And then
he didn't see that. No, he didn't see that.
He didn't see that. Okay, so that's what I was like. He should have disqualified him right there, but obviously that wouldn't have been the ending of the match. But either way, I knew how it was supposed to go. That's why I still had it in Primo, because it was just a great look for him to actually be an actual good wrestler, or once again as a heel, you're cheating as a wrestler, but getting a clean win without, any JDs or Finns, around you. Sure. Especially when you're outsized, like I would say, who is clearly the underdog in a title retention. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're talking about just straight up. Like, and nobody would be like, oh yeah, Dom's gonna beat him in kayfabe. It's like Rusev is on a killing streak and just killed Sheamus. So
I had it as a mid again, but you had that as a primo. I had that as a mid.
It's primo because it's his best Eddie impersonation so far, and like I said, still getting the win even though he cheated, because I was thinking about that exact spot, and we've been waiting for him to do this spot, and specifically more so as a face, but I think it's even funnier.
I like the fact that he failed at it.
Exactly, because we all know what he's trying to do and who he's invoking, but that's why it's a primo. Just the character work and the finish of it, because it's not like a frog splash, like 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I beat Rusev. It's I cheated and ran away from him. So
Rusev is definitely,
and that still protects Rusev.
It seems like Rusev is definitely going to dethrone.
Yeah, right. He just sitting there pissed off
for the Intercontinental title eventually. My first mid that I had on here was the Cody Seth promo. I think we're getting some good dialogue.
Yeah.
For this Crown Jewel match, I don't really care for like the outcomes of it because but the conversation as far as like Cody being the quarterback and stuff, it's like that's something you can always run with those guys because it's always they just are both trying to represent the same thing. They're just coming from two different paths. You know what I'm saying?
Two different visions.
No, I'm talking about just career paths as far. Yeah, I get the. It's not the vision that they have. It's more of just like how they got to the point in their careers. I think is the most interesting part of their eternal storyline. Like Seth was the WWE guy. He stayed and everything like that. Cody, generational kid, ends up leaving, coming back, starts another company, comes back, all this other stuff, and now it's the Golden Boy that used to be Stardust, and it's like both are fighting to be number one, but again, you can't be wrong with any decision as far as like the non-kayfabe. Like both are one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah,
but yeah, Seth better win this shit. Seth better win this shit. Because didn't Cody win it last year?
Yeah, Cody won last year.
He's defending his Crown Jewel title.
Yeah, that obnoxious ass.
Yeah.
However much that thing actually, like the real one actually costs, like god dang, that's insane. I liked it because it was giving me like real good. The best part of all of it was Seth's work, where because once again, I mean, you can't help but Cody being like badass enough, standing up for himself, babyface, and he's like, I acknowledge, you sacrificed for me and all this stuff, and. At WrestleMania 40, I was standing on top and you had lost like everything or whatever. All right, that's the sentiment that I was kind of getting from it.
Yeah.
And he was like, but we were friends at that point in time. And then when Seth was, he's like, shut up, just shut up. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. Like Days of Our Lives, soap opera shit. Like
y'all weren't friends. That was
like he was about to lose it, and he's like recontained it. It was like, no, shut up, I'm done with this, kind of situation. I really liked. Yeah, Seth's work. He got the better of Cody in that. But for the, once again, crown jewel of it all, that's why it's here in mid. But it was good.
It's good build, though. I appreciate it. This
good
is
enough.
The most interesting match, the match I'm most interested in right now for crown jewel. That I think is a legitimate toss-up.
Well, yeah, there's no story between Tiffy and Stephanie at this point. Yeah. They're just both face wrestlers. Yeah, so
we'll get to that.
Yeah. In the main event?
The main event, it was Jimmy and Jay
versus Division. Yep.
I feel like we have that all the time.
We just had that at the pay-per-view. Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, I don't even remember who ended up winning the match. Was it Jimmy and Jay? No, I forget.
I think we just said fuck it and went to the.
No, that was Monday. Talking about the Jimmy and Jay match.
Yeah, that was on Monday.
Yeah, you said. Never mind.
That was okay. Either way,
the Usos ended up winning.
Oh, they actually they did win. But we get this whole beatdown angle still, but really what happens, or the talking note here is that Roman returns for the first time, right? Since 6 spears, or no, 3 spears and 3 tsunamis.
Yeah, with the strapped on to the.
On the gurney.
Yeah,
exactly.
So the return of Roman. What also caught my eye was after the fact, after the beatdown, Roman was in Jay's face, just kind of it looked like to me he was gassing him up because even watching it live, they were bleeping out because it was pretty much face to face. The camera was on there and Roman was saying something to him, but they had bleeped it out because it seemed like he was cursing on there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but it seemed like he was yo.
I'm pretty sure he said "fuck them all."
Yeah, you that shit type of shit. It almost felt like he was almost molding him into what he was.
Well, very
You know,
clearly
man.
so when like that was the whole like undertone of that what he named Jay as right hand.
Yeah.
And the bloodline story and like the very deliberate they're dapping up doing the the best dap ever like this. And you see Jimmy in the background like shaking his head in the background of like very, very good. I mean, you gotta lay it on thick sometimes, but yeah, we see it. Yeah. It's like the slow burn of like Jay's heel turn is continuing. And it looks like he's coming around to like Roman's point of view. But yeah, I'm enjoying that for sure. Well, that does bring me into that does bring me into my shake though, where like you already said it, but I put the Vision, the Three Faces of Bailey, even though Three Faces of Bailey is already that's like a 4-week segment at this point, and the Kabukis are feeling pretty repetitive, like just all three of those, where I'm like, I understand that we have this like respect, like because Rhea and Io have been so linked for so long that also like now that we're spinning the dynamics of it, it's obviously they're great wrestlers, but it's like we have seen them interact and beat each other up so much previously, the previous version of this rivalry, that it's like, all right, well now Io's with Rhea, but I still feel like I've seen it. Like I know I would love to see like a new Asuka Io match for sure, and we even were booking like just blow it all up between like the Japanese division, basically of the women, and have Kyrie come out on top.
Yeah.
So that's a way to go with it right now. But at least as far as like the week to week and like, I guess also Rhea, it's interesting because Rhea's being like part of like, I don't want to say it. She's not the backbone of the story. I definitely care about like the breakup of Asuka and Io.
The backbone of
the story. Yeah. She's the. I guess it's interesting in the sense of like Rhea's not around the title, but she is part of a storyline where she's like, I guess taking it easy, kind of,
She's on our Bianca run right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like Bianca with the tag titles, basically. She's like helping this story more so. So yeah, it's just I guess I want to hurry up and get there. Then like the weekly.
This feels like a match for like the city. It's like like not just for the Rhea aspect, but it's like we just want to put on a good match. So let's put all these 40 women in this match. But yeah, for the story, I'm like, I guess like I understand the story.
Yeah.
I guess between Asuka and Io, and even the Kyrie aspect of it, and her being in the middle. The Rhea just seems kind of just thrown in there, and I'm like,
yeah, she's just getting beaten down because like Asuka is like effectively, like they said outwardly, like she's like the sort of mentor of Kyrie, or she is the OG of them all. So like that's why it's clear that she's like pushing Kyrie to do stuff. It's like this is the way to do things, and Io is already like multiple time champion and stuff.
Yeah.
And best wrestler in the world right now and super over right now also. So I think it's like really giving us our acting chops from Io, which is she has to like constantly grab at her heart, which is like pretty funny for me, I guess. You have to get the message across, even though because the all the English ain't there. Yeah. But honestly, I just love the them speaking like in Japanese anyway.
Like,
but
it's for me, I feel like it's the same thing that we say about a lot of other things. It just feels like this is
the holding pattern.
Yeah, I feel like we're in holding pattern. I'm just kind of here for the match already.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of seeing like what's the next steps for the story progressing from here. Like let's see the turn.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We already know like they already attacked Io, so like what is the next step after that? So let's just get to next week already.
Yeah. And the Three Faces of Bailey, which I was calling also that falls into the same feels repetitive already. And I was like, this is where I felt like it was. I brought it up, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, when I was like, this is a pretty tricky gimmick to nail where, she can beat Hugger Bailey. And because in this episode, she ends up getting the win over Raquel. Or actually, she gets the win. Well, because Roxanne comes in to interfere and starts beating her down, right? Or maybe that was after the match. But either I remember Roxanne beating her down, and like Lyra comes down for the save, and pushes Judgment Day off, and then we have the voices in my head moment. Yeah, okay, she did. All right, but she's doing the voices in my head moment when Lyra is helping her out, and then Jess is like, "Oh yeah, you really got him, man. You really got him." And I'm like, "Whew, I'm not all the way there with this, but like, I think maybe it just these three faces need to be defined. Where I guess like we're getting to that, but I just want her to stick the landing with me. It needs to be, I don't know if it's a costume change or not a costume change, but or a makeup change or something. Like I don't know, but I'm saying just to know the difference, like we have Mick Foley come. That's why I said three faces of Bailey. Bailey's over with us. We could have her just appear 3 times in the show as 3 fucking, Baileys, and she don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a way to do it versus like fighting within herself, but whatever. And the last shake that I had was LA Knight did get the win over Kofi Kingston, and I honestly wouldn't have even put this on here if it wasn't for the notable when I was rewatching it. Near the ending or mid sequence of the match, close. It was a close contact, like Irish whip, where Kofi was dropping down, and LA Knight was gonna jump over him, but he was pretty close to the ropes, like the spacing wise. So when LA Knight attempted to jump over him, he did knee him in the side of the head, and he was pretty slow to like get up or slide out of the ring and everything. And whenever you see that, contact to the temple, you're like, and he was slow with them, but I was appreciative where obviously, he's a vet, even though he's only been here for like 4 or 5 years, whatever. I don't know how long he's been here now, but taking him to the outside of the ring and like clearly like checking on him, immediately, and going easy with them enough for like Kofi to get his, the star stop, the room stop spinning, for like he carried it for that like 2 minutes or whatever. And then we got to the end of the match.
Even before the NXT, before coming to WWE, he was wrestling. So
yeah, exactly.
Been in the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put
like
this
in his early 40s.
Yeah, he's in his 40s already. But I was just happy to see that. It's like even though it was clear that he was dazed, it's like, oh yeah, he was fine by the end of it, and like you were still able to keep the show going. But that's all I have for Raw. And
same here.
Yeah.
We don't have much current events, so we can head straight into the bodega.
Exactly.
NXT. Who got the highest? Oh, you were much higher than me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just one
Not
thing.
that I was down on the show, but you had.
Yeah, it's just one thing. It's just a lot that it looks like I typed out. But just the overall build of NXT versus TNA Showdown, the 4v4. I like the lineup, so that's why I put as primo. And the main segment, and we get like the finale of the show is after we had even matches earlier on in the show determine some positions. But new NXT champion Ricky Saints, who I loved in this, was very authoritative, even with Trick. And he's been on the mic plenty, and like
they were talking about who's the leader of NXT, and I like that little back and forth that they had. So.
And backstage, yeah, exactly.
Even in the ring too, because like Trick was like, "I'm the leader of Team NXT," and Ricky was like, "Bro, what are you talking about?
Like,
I'm the NXT
champion." Yeah, I don't care. You might have been here. But he was like, "I'm over you." Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? And they even determined, like, because Miles Bourne and who was it, Jasper Troy? No, Jasper Troy was in that segment. I loved how I was trying to think of a champion of the week for him. He was like clanging his chain, and I was like, "Yeah, I haven't seen Jasper Troy."
I was just thinking about that too. And this week, like, where's Jasper Troy then? Yeah,
it was not Josh Briggs, but we get the match of Miles Bourne versus Josh Briggs to determine who's going to be on the team. Miles Bourne gets the W. But to just ruin it all for the night, my primo, we got Ricky, NXT champion Ricky, TNA champion Trick, Javon Evans, and Miles Bourne versus Team TNA, Mike Santana, X Division champion Leon Slater, international champion Kazarian, and Moose. And for the women, we got JC Jane, or NXT Women's Champion JC Jane, Jada Parker, who won a match earlier in the night, defeating Lash Legend. We know they've had their rivalry going back and forth for a while. North American champion Sol Ruka and Lola Vice versus Team TNA. TNA champion Kaylani, the Inspiration, the former Iconics, and Maria Sade.
Tag team champions as well.
Are they the tag team champions?
They just won it.
Oh, okay. They just beat the Elegance brand? Okay.
Yeah.
And Mara Sade, who that is Team TNA.
Yeah. I think on the women's side, TNA is at a disadvantage. I think they're going to get washed.
It's pretty strong. We talk in kayfabe, yeah.
And it's unfortunate for them because obviously you had to lose Ash by Elegance.
Yeah.
For unfortunate circumstances. Masha Slamovich is going through her stuff, so she's not been on television. I'm surprised there wasn't Indy Hartwell in there or Xia Li, but I make sense with the Iconics or the Inspiration in there. Yeah, but I got the women's. That's like an early prediction. I got Team NXT on that side. On the men's side, I would say the clash between Ricky and Trick.
Oh, Trick. Oh, okay.
Will cause NXT to lose and TNA on the men's side would win.
That ain't bad at all. I mean, for context too, it's funny because I know we really don't be watching TNA, but for whatever reason, I was like, man, at least TNA does the exact opposite of what AEW, or what AEW used to do. We watched a 17-minute opening clip. And I was like, I don't know the last time you watched TNA, but we watched that and they added even more context where they was low-key beefing about, Showdown coming up also between like Kaz and, Trick and Leon Slater on the TNA show. And so I think I would have the same like right now for picking. I think I like the thought of Ricky and Trick clashing. Because if anything, Santino, he's put over more than anything. He doesn't trust that Tricky Will. Tricky William. I do not like him as the TNA champion. So I can see it. And Trick is also in this character of Trick, or not just Trick and A, but like this tweener, or more so heel tweener Trick. We've seen him walk out of matches, before. So he could definitely just do that and be like, you know what? This ain't my problem. It's like I'm already a world champion. So but our mids, I agree. The highest mid that I had up here was the return of Mustafa Ali coming out to challenge All Ego. That's what I love this character, that politician, running for office. I mean, he's been doing this. He's been in his bag for a long minute. It's like that's another one that just like.
That's when I was actually surprised to see him on like WWE television. Like even though he's like on TNA, I feel like there was like I don't know what his feelings were, but I'm just like I felt like he was just like, nah, I'm done with WWE and like I wouldn't want to like participate in this storyline. Just like let me focus on like TNA shit. But the fact that he's back on, and I'm like, I feel like he could probably do it.
That's an interesting pairing because. Even like his reasoning, because I feel like he's, Cody Rhodes in a way smaller, in a smaller scale sense, where this character I fuck with. I mean, he was more so like young upstart when he was.
He wanted to do this character in WWE.
Yeah, he wanted to, but then even his reasoning here, where he's like, "Oh, I actually earned that shot," and I was let go. I never actually got it. Or also knowing the very clear story of like Kofi Mania, that was actually set up for him. And it's just like, damn, it's like unfortunate how his character went, but. He's in his fucking bag with this. Yeah. And even I like the pairing because it's like fighting fire with fire. He's like, oh no, I'm not gonna fight you now. I'm gonna do what I do best, politics. And that's exactly what Ethan does, in a funnier sense with, the politics of like the Canadian, union, that he has with Chelsea Green and everything. So I really like it. And I believe that too. That would be a great, as much as we've been like, yo, who's going to be the one to actually win an NXT title? That would be more significant than the Hardys winning. Yeah. Because the Hardys actually held it already. So it's like they're fucking one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So that they could hold the NXT tag team titles whenever they wanted. Yeah. Like they're legends. But really love that segment. And
also like on the other to connect that too, again another return, at least officially. We saw him last week during the brawl, or 2 weeks ago during the brawl.
Yeah,
but
the setup
Matt Cardona back again.
Yeah,
in
lightly
WWE.
touched on it during the Briggs match, but yeah, Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder.
Yeah, cost Josh Briggs the spot.
And not for nothing, you had to put this on here because Miles Bourne did the huge shout out to him in that point in time, finishing the match with Born Again, which is the zigzag.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Matt Cardona, Chelsea Green, husband.
Yep, that was dope seeing
him back. She talked about like
the indie god.
He wanted to be back at some point, and again, even if it's still like as an independent, which I think he probably would prefer. Like, yo, that's still dope.
That's a different kind of fandom.
Yeah,
like, that's
I can see him working his way up to facing Ricky Saints.
Oh yeah,
for the
that would
title.
be dope as hell.
That'd be dope. But I think the best match on the show was Javon Evans and Leon Slater defeating the Culling.
And this is exactly what the 4v4 is for. Because remember, I said, I was like, that's like low-key just one of the dream matches right now.
Yeah.
The two, I guess, black luchadors. The best black luchador. The only way to make this better, actually, Michael Oku from Rev Pro, the former Rev Pro heavyweight champion, like, because he's basically the heir apparent. I know I mentioned him to you before. It's like the best of British wrestling after like Will Ospreay. But those would be, I'm sure Leon, actually I should look that match up after this because Leon Slater's British. So I guarantee you Michael Oku and Leon Slater have had a match. But I'm going to look into that. But yeah, that match was dope for sure. These guys look awesome. And seeing the finish of that, literally that boy Bouncy going over with the 450 Swanton right after the other, like, man, come on. Like, these guys are 20 feet in the goddamn air off of spring shit.
When they have a one-on-one, that's going to be really good.
Yeah, I want to see that one-on-one.
Shake, though, is the name change of next week's theme party.
Were you aware of this?
I found out afterwards that, because I was like, on the show, they were calling it Showdown. I was like, I thought it was called Invasion. And come to find out, they were like, oh, we got to change it to Showdown because our Israeli fans were getting upset because the episode is happening on October 7th.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that is pretty wild. Coincidence, but still, like, you're like,
but y'all didn't even look at the calendar and just realize,
and y'all are in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's funny, not even going to get into the politics of it. But
exactly. But I like the fact that Santino in character is like, this is not an invasion.
Yeah.
We have been working together for a good long time. But we need to figure out who's the best, you know? So he just flipped that on its head and was like, hey, we just got to see who's the best. It's a showdown. And I like the finish, the setup that we got.
Let's move over to anything else from the bodega.
That is all I got.
Let's head over to the coffee shop, Dynamite. And your primos are pretty much my mids.
Yeah.
So let's discuss at those.
Yeah. Number one for sure was, you notice the way I wrote these? These are not the matches themselves. One of these is, but two of them are not. And more so the moments where, as I showed you before, I was like kind of geeked about it just because, man, showing the W finish, you know, with Hangman and the Ops over, fuck me, I should have wrote that down. The Bucks, or no, the Bucks was earlier on. Yeah, because the Bucks was against Brodito and Kenny. That was earlier on. I forget who. Help me out here. But either way, at the end of the match in the main event, Hangman is like just lit and he's happy that they got the win.
Josh Alexander.
Oh, okay, so it was against them. All right. So I guess I got this as two moments, but it's actually all one. But after getting the win, Hangman is like, yo, we lit, we got the W, and handing, you know, the trios titles back to Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe. He was a little he put a little mustard on that, giving the trios title back to Samoa Joe. And I just love the promo. This is really just about the promo that Joe cut afterwards, where it's like, yo, forget that Joe has a fucking short ass fuse. Like you like shoved my title. You gave me back my title a little bit too hard in my sternum. you must have forgot. I'm about to choke your ass out. And like immediately getting the chills where it's like, I feel like it's almost like a cop out in the sense of like, when it comes to like, holding like a crowd in the palm of their hands with like just a microphone. Like CM Punk is here and Joe is one of them.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't even surprise me when I
that
bring
one
those
promo
two
that
up.
he cut in the backstage. It was like, oh, okay, I'm already ready
Exactly.
for this
Like, I'm ready for this now because Samoa Joe is always valid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, he's gonna break your neck. Like, he's gonna kill you. And I think just when I bring up CM Punk and I like immediately Ring of Honor comes to my head. They're the same class too.
Yeah.
Like, man, so many of those guys are just dripping all over this industry, and it's like great that we have him. Seth too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like this is about the Primo promo backstage, just being pissed off.
I would upgrade that to to a Primo. I have it as mid just because I'm curious to see where this goes. Type of like we just starting this, but I'm like, nah, just off that
just
one
a promo.
I was just like,
yeah,
I'm already invested of like between this rivalry. Hopefully it's not just like a short term and like we at least get like a few months out of this. But I'm here for it.
I think it's when I first saw this, I immediately thought like this is probably just for the pay-per-view cycle. Yeah. Like for the next 6 weeks or whenever. Or not Wrestle Dream. Yeah, we just got it. So well, yeah, maybe we do a rematch then because it's like 2 weeks out. So yeah, hopefully we get at least one rematch. We get 2 pay-per-views of this.
Maybe the others of the ops turn on Hangman and they get Joe.
Oh, they turn heel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that'd be fire for sure. And then the other setup for this, because it's actually the same match. I might as well go into this. But earlier in the night, we get, the continuation of the Young Bucks celebration, the rest of their money because they won the $50,000 or $500,000, main event. And Matt is just saying like, hey, we still got a whole lot of money. We're in a good mood. I'm going to go talk to the guys about, our setup. We need to remind people who we are. But for whatever reason, big brother Matt leaves little brother, who I guess he doesn't know is a gambling addict, with his little brother Nick. And he's like, we're at my favorite place, a casino. And we get this vignette of him losing all the effing money. Well, I was like, yo, they've had that money for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now, so it didn't surprise me when they lost the main event, but I was like, because they're not charisma, but their confidence would be down. Their mojo is down for losing all the money earlier in the day. So that low key protects them in character.
I really like this vignette just for the fact that when he did gamble, it was all on slots.
A real degenerate.
He went to high limit slots. I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
Like a high limit slot section.
That man crazy. Spending $100 a spin on that shit. You're like, bro, what are you doing?
That's crazy.
Yo, that's what it must be. High limit slots. That's nuts.
That was fun. I have that as mid. Like obviously you knew they were gonna lose their money, but like the fact that he lost it playing slots, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's real. I mean, because I'm a gambler too, and my favorite game is roulette.
Yeah.
Now, roulette is one, and then blackjack is two. Like, I know the thing is like obviously blackjack. Everybody knows there's a correct way to play blackjack. Like you can even loosely come up on counting cards. Like if you focus in on I'm not gonna say count. I can feel a double deck.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there, you can feel it after a while. But anyway, that's my little gambler's corner right there. But yeah, for him to go in slots, I'm like, that's nuts. The only thing worse than that would be like, putting all 500,000 on black. You know what I'm saying? Like
that fast five.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you put it on black? I put it on red. And that shit lands on 00 green. Like, trash. But the only match I had in the Primo, of course, no surprise. It's the momentum of Orange Cassidy's. Like, this is only his second week back, and Scorching Hot, who will be definitely on for like either Technician of the Year or I don't know, whatever our other categories are, Wrestler of the Year, whatever. Kyle Fletcher will definitely be in one of the categories, but Kyle Fletcher retaining against Orange Cassidy. And also in this match, the legit hologram was apparently injured. So they were putting over on commentary at the end of this match, Orange Cassidy hits Kyle Fletcher with 2 orange punches, and it's like, oh, yo, is Orange Cassidy about to be TNT champion for the first time? You know? And Kyle was selling his ass off. Like, I love how him and Pac like really have that like I get punched and I fold in half thing down. But we get a clone, as Excalibur put it, the clone of Hologram, who's his evil clone, comes out. And I guess, it makes sense because Hologram is part of the conglomeration. And the conglomeration are enemies of the Don Callis family. So for there to be an evil clone, I guess that makes sense. I do not know who the legit luchador is because he ripped his, fake hologram stuff off. But yeah, we end up seeing him going for like the lazy super elbow, Orange Cassidy does. Pull of the leg, he crotches him, and then turnbuckle DDT for the win from Kyle Fletcher. But interesting dynamic when this fucking Don Callis family gets bigger and bigger, because with our, might as well slide into it, Shake.
Yeah.
We get the first man to double dutch between the 2 big North American companies in the modern era, AEW and NXT. Andrade at the end of the Kenny Omega match when he said "Good night, bang" the main event. We get Andrade coming back. The lights going out black. And you see El Idolo in his black mask and hitting the message on him and getting a handshake from Don Callis.
With the Don Callis family.
And the biggest faction in WWE, or I was gonna say WR, in wrestling history, I can imagine. At like just one current, I need to look at like
a lot of testosterone.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You need to have some women in there
for sure, especially for there to be no women at all. Yeah, you're right about that. One of the biggest factions I can think of, because the only thing I can think of is like if that size is like
Wu-Tang.
Yeah, literally Wu-Tang. Anybody who's dropped a verse is part of Wu-Tang, like on the album, basically. They got to be up to like, that was like 10 guys.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of, in kayfabe, like, Don Callis is going to be doing a lot of painting. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got a painting of Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, like, Okada. I know he's got to be working on one with Hechicero right now. But
it's funny because like I was like, I came in because I had just came back from the movies, like I told you, and I had turned it to AEW, and so I caught the end of the Orange Cassidy Kyle Fletcher match, and then I was like, I saw when they stood on stage and they were doing like their like family pose. I was like, is that Andrade? And then sure enough, they went back and they showed the replay of him kind of taking out Kenny earlier in the night, and I was like, oh, that is Andrade. That's crazy. He was just on WWE television like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. And now like it's crazy that you could just
and that's why I bring it up
is
that the double dutch of it. Kind of going off at the left leg and right leg. We get the first guy in both companies twice.
Yeah.
And a huge fucking faction shot at the end. It's got to be at least like 10 guys in there. And I guess I did skip my mid. The one mid that I did have was the mixed tag match. I really enjoyed this. Darby and Stat, the new AEW Women's Champion, versus Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. We're getting more and more Marina Shafir.
Yeah.
Like actually in-ring stuff, which she took
thumbtacks to the feet.
That's what I was gonna say. She took probably I would say, if not for my champion of the week that you hadn't seen, this would be like, this is 6th spot of the week for sure. Like, what the fuck, know, with her trying to go for like, I guess like a bulldog, I think, and then Stat just getting too powerful, like lifting her up like a back body suplex and then dropping her feet first. Oh shit, I just spit. But dropping her feet first and thumbtacks. And it was a lot. Them shits stuck, boy. I was like, oh yeah, that shit's gonna hurt, dude. But that was a fun match. Darby and Stat get the dub. But once again, storyline wise, this is really about the continuation of Mox and Darby and wanting to put him down. Because we get the Death Riders once again coming out, or Mox and Pac fucking choking him out with a dog collar.
Yeah.
We know Darby's always going to do the most extreme, like I'm dying or the borderline of death type of spots, and Mox just being like, "Hey, I'm gonna make you say 2 words you never have, which is I quit at Wrestle Dream." Who's your pick right now?
I mean, if I had to go just from like logic, I would say Darby.
Saying that this is the end,
But
we don't get a rubber match. Saying that this is just the end.
I'm saying like, yeah, based off of logic, I'd say Darby.
I mean, I just think straight up.
Because like again,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
my logic before for why Moxley was going to be Darby was the fact that Darby kept getting over on the Death Riders, and now I feel like this is kind of the equivalent of like Darby kind of finally getting over on the Death Riders.
Yeah,
at least culminating in that, because now the Death Riders are kind of getting on top of him.
Yeah.
I believe that they both will just not say it, and it just ends up in a double.
That'd be sick.
Double count out.
Yeah.
Like
we go to a TKO finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I can't imagine either one of them saying I quit.
That's the thing, is like,
unless like they do something where like, you know, they like handcuff not Jungle Boy, but the guy Nick Perry.
Yeah, you're right. Jack Perry. Yeah.
And they were gonna, you know, Darby was gonna fucking light him on fire. It's got to be like that type of situation. I feel like for Jon Moxley to say I quit.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because that's with Darby. Like Darby will just pass out, but if you pass out, you can't quit.
Yeah.
So that would just continue the match. So yeah, you have to do something. It has to be torturous. You know, whatever you're doing. Like one of my favorites. This was a bad one, but and it was I feel like it was Chavo, like Chavo versus Ray, and Ray got stuck in the Tree of Woe, like with one leg.
Okay.
And he was just wailing on it with a chair. I forget who was. Somebody destroyed Ray's knee with a chair when he was stuck in Tree of Woe, and I was like, that was one of the sickest. Like I was pulling for Ray, you know, as a kid, and I'm like, that one hurt. But yeah, I don't think Darby would. If I had the gun to my head, I'm saying Darby's winning. Yeah, because I'm like, like I said, out of the two, Darby ain't saying it. No. I can see Moxley saying it. Yeah. And just to correct like the booking that we had, but yeah, what opened the show was Kenny and Brodito, and that was versus the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
And the Death Riders versus Hangman Page and DCF. That's what that was. Claudio. And Garcia and Mox. Sorry, let me get back to my page. My shake. Oh yeah, we covered everything. My last shake that I had, of course, we have to have an appearance by one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Mercedes backstage, just putting over wrestling in general. I like how she's still, I mean, clearly she is a heel, but she's still a fan of wrestling and like, you know, loves it with all her heart and all that stuff. And it's like, we'll put over anybody like at the easiest turn, kind of. And the fact that we got back, I'm not gonna say back on track, but like we were talking about this off cam, that like Harley is just everybody's best friend, and like her talking about being excited about, you know, the new tag team championship belts, and Mercedes is like, oh, who should my champion be, or who should my partner be to go after these belts? Everybody knows I could go for a 10th belt, and then you just enter stage right, like Little Monet, and she's like, pick me, and Harley's there, and I'm like, I'm here for that. And Harley's just everybody's best friend. Like,
it could work out, because I could see that, you know, almost being like a Charlotte and Alexa kind of tag team, where it's like, you know, two people from different sides
for sure
kind of come together, but they somehow make it work.
Yeah.
And it'd be funny to Mercedes just like actually just talking to the puppet and just being like, what am I doing talking to a puppet when I know this is just Harley? Just, you know.
And immediately you were like, yo, she's really good at that. And I was like, yeah, you're damn right. Like, she is amazing. Honestly, the one last thing that's not on here, I think it was just a promo, because there was no match. I don't know, did she get physical, but she was like distraught, disheveled, because the queen, the former queen, Timeless Toni Storm, just coming out and giving us her return to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Of like, basically just, you know, challenging outwardly Stat again.
Yeah.
And saying, the character of Timeless doesn't know who she is without, the women's title. And she needs to know one-on-one, which I think Stat's got to win that anyway.
I was going to say, is that no different than Ricky Saints beating Oba Femi? Like, wouldn't you say the same thing?
Well, no, because I wouldn't say Tony is she's less dominant in like the kayfabe sense, like, and in ring wise. No.
Mercedes and Athena.
Of course, she's great. She's a great wrestler. I'm talking about physicality underdog. Like Chris Statlander is bigger than Toni Storm. Of course, she's a great wrestler. Yeah. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm saying like Ricky is giving up 50 fucking pounds, if not 60 pounds to Oba. That's the dominant, like, oh shit, you got your more than hands full. Yeah. That's the difference. I mean, but to see Tony distraught, it makes sense. Like that's how she was. That's how she was when she became Timeless. Yeah. She lost her mind and became this character. So, if anything, I have faith in Tony the character to like, if anything, change without it. I would just like to see the evolution.
But also, like I said, another loss would just kind of get you like, okay, now she could take a break.
Then that would be the break, really. Because I'm like, all right, we're handing it off and solidifying stats, sure. But yeah, that was the last thing. I didn't write that down, but of course I can't. I can't pass AEW without.
I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah,
so, good call.
Yeah,
but let's get over to the gallery for the Book of Wrestling.
All right, this week in the gallery, it's 3 moments, basically, or 2.5 moments and half a match. Because it's definitely not a full match. I'm gonna start with the most recent, because this is all fresh in our mind. I'm not surprising anybody with this. I call this SmackDown's debut on Fox. Not to say that this was a bad show, but one of the most upsetting moments in the modern era. October 4th, 2019, which all of these moments / and half of this match is all the same day. This was a very easy Book of Wrestling where I typed it, I typed it in earlier this morning. I'm like, what's what we got for this day? And it was like, 3 significant things. So I was like, let's cover it. But most recently, SmackDown's debut on Fox, October 4th, 2019. WWE SmackDown aired on Fox for the first time. This marked the starting point of one of the most lucrative television contracts in WWE history. I remember, I don't have the contract details, but definitely in the billions for sure, even for that short time. The main event of the show, Lord have mercy, saw Brock Lesnar defeat Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Wasn't it 9 seconds, right? Something like that?
Pretty much instant, because Kofi just ran up.
He ran and tried to like...
Got F5.
Yeah, and he just caught him, pulled him up into fireman's carry, F5, and that was it. Upsetting. It was Lesnar's first bout on the broadcast since 2004. 15 years later, the Rockin' heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury were also on the show up here, getting those ratings up, very upsetting. Very, very upsetting.
Yeah.
That you couldn't have gave my man like 5 minutes.
Even a match. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have gave him 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Ran himself into an F5 and lost off of 1 F5.
You talking about protected characters. Brock, jeez, man. Brock just shows up and destroys shit. That's it. If you ain't at least double-digit champion or one of the top guys in the company, like you got to be top 3, honestly, in the company, or like an all-timer to even stand in there for 5 minutes. I'll let you pick one of the other 2, sure.
Yeah, I'll go with the next one on the list. October 4th, 2009. First WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. The first ever Hell in a Cell took place in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. WWE booked 3 Hell in a Cell matches on the pay-per-view. God damn, bro.
And that's when it's like, this is that era when it's like, you just had, a whole pay-per-view TLC, a whole pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, a whole pay-per-view Extreme Rules, and it's like, bruh, like if you're
killing the allure.
Exactly. And then we got, thank God, recently we got the revivification, we said, with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre last year, but that was amazing. So
in the first, The Undertaker defeated CM Punk to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton defeated John Cena for the WWE Championship in the second bout in the demonic structure. The main event saw the final cell match in which Triple H and Shawn Michaels defeated Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr.
So they were tag team champions at that point in time, DX. Like, man, glad hopefully we're permanently, for the most part. Now, well, the equivalent of that pay-per-view, I guess we're getting away from it now. I would have said like Crown Jewel and like those kind of shows. But now that we got like WrestleMania coming there,
yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, we got to stop this whole Saudi-verse, pocket universe that it's basically been since it's come out. And then the oldest thing, this definitely was very significant because it breaks the fourth wall. But October 4th, 1976, or 75, actually, I got this wrong. So 1975, damn, that's 40 years ago to the day. Ric Flair was among of the passengers involved in a plane crash on approach to Wilmington Airport in North Carolina. The plane contained Ric Flair, Davy Crockett, Bob Brugers, Tom Mr. Wrestling Woods, and Johnny Valentine. Although none of the wrestlers passed away, the pilot, Joseph Michael Farkas, slipped into a coma and died 2 months after the incident. Valentine suffered injuries that confined him to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and Flair famously suffered a broken back. Multiple doctors implored him to retire from wrestling. Instead, he returned to action 8 months later. And obviously, when you think about the real world, like fuck kayfabe, but real world aspects of it, nigga, you were in a plane crash with I didn't even put like
defining possibly
exactly life defining, yeah, like, and you end up becoming. This is 75.
Yeah,
this is before
like even like
world champion. Yeah.
Point. Yeah, he was just like a regular guy.
Exactly.
His way up the circuit.
Yeah, Davy Crockett promotions at this point in time. So it's like that's insane. The fact that on your come up, like the adversity that would retire most people.
And he came back 8 months later.
8 months, like a torn ACL.
Yeah,
bro, what? But yeah, that's our book of wrestling this week. That was low key. I remember that I heard that I knew Ric Flair was in a plane crash, but I didn't know the significance. Yeah, the circumstances. So that was like a halfway. This week I found out, like just looking into it a little bit more. But yeah, that was our book of wrestling, the gallery this week.
Okay, let's get over to the last show of the week. SmackDown boutique. You have the highest thing on here again. Sami retaining against Aleister Black in the U.S. Open title match, which was originally going to be Carmelo Hayes, but he ended up getting jumped by our Sheik.
Yeah.
After, in the backstage segment, Carmelo Hayes broke it off. He tried to break it off clean with Miz, and it's like, we good, but,
Miz is salty.
Yeah, we gotta go separate. Miz was salty, did a skull-crushing finale as Carmelo was coming out, and then Aleister Black ended up taking his spot. Yeah. These obviously could easily be like primos every week, but I'm like, you got to be a little bit firm. Like, it's the same argument for AEW. Like, yeah, you guys put on great matches.
It's the bag of now it's Sammy's open challenge.
Yeah,
similarly to like Cena.
You guys put on great matches, but I can't put every great match as a primo. Like, I gotta be a little bit selective. So, like, any other regular day, yeah, this would be a primo. But I'm like, I gave last week's match a primo. I'm like,
don't be stingy. I mean, it's also like primo of the week of the episode. It's the best wrestling. It's the best wrestling.
Sure. It's probably the best wrestling match
and the longest.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, all right, we gave it, and Sammy's in his bag. Of course, Aleister's great. We're just gonna let these guys do what they do.
Yeah.
And also, I had on here, because Sammy wins clean the second time in a row, or a third time in a row, where he actually wins with a blue thunder bomb.
They're making that. They're trying to put that over. I think, one of his finishers.
And Damian coming down to pick up the pieces, getting his get back because he's tired of Aleister, Black Mass and his fucking head off. So he puts him through a table with the Razor's Edge. Love that at the end of that segment.
Yeah.
So,
and now they're set for a last man standing match next week.
Looking forward to that. That's great. I'm sure that'll be a preview next week. That'll be the best match next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the best wrestling of the show. That's why that's a primo. And
Not a good tag team work though. Like
For
you know,
sure.
we had
So you have the blow. Well, let's connect all of this, just because I mean, we did start. I mean, go with the beginning of the show, like Carmelo, like you did mention. So we're gonna get a blow off between them. Is that we're just gonna do that crown jewel, right?
I don't know if that's been official yet.
SmackDown?
Maybe on SmackDown.
Yeah. Probably not big enough for crown jewel.
Yeah.
All right, that's SmackDown. I just wanted to talk about like what day it would come up. For me, what we agreed on in the mids, my highest or the only mid that I had for real was Saruka getting the win over the Secret Hervis, specifically. You know, well, we know Piper's out hurt, but Alba Fire and Chelsea Green. But immediately, the reason I had to put this in mid was like, yo, Ruka just keeps on getting these fucking pins on, like, you know, when you see a favorite, it's so obvious. Like when you're one of Tripp's favorites, and it's like already holding 2 titles, and like you just pinned the first U.S. Women's Champion. Where honestly, my knee-jerk thought, I didn't say this to you, but my knee-jerk thought was like, can we just put the U.S. title on her too? But then it was like, oh yeah, Julia's U.S. champion right now. We're building her. I can't do that. So I
think the look that I'm looking for out of this win is obviously now they're probably number 1 contenders.
For the tag team
titles. And so just having the stare down between Sol Ruka and Charlotte is going to be fun. To be like, okay, like we know Sol Ruka constantly gets compared to be called like Surfer Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we got both of them in the ring going at it, and now it's in a tag team setting, but it just kind of like eventually gets to that point where they're fighting for the championship. I do think Sol Ruka needs to like update her music.
Yeah, right.
Wants to be like
literally doing surfer music.
Yeah, like I don't know if I can feel serious when my champion comes out with just like, you know, 90s, 70s, 80s like surfer music.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny.
Everything about her is obviously like, future world champion.
Once again, I think this is where we get to like what we asked for from Kaylani, where it's like character maturity, you know. And Kaylani was in that for a bit, but like I understand you're a face, but I needed some kind of because the last character development we got was probably Saruka being formed, like the vignettes of them bonding, you know. And they've been the same since then. So with them coming up to SmackDown, or like, well, we know usually you come up a little bit, you know, a few times, and then you're finally up there. So if they're slotted, you know, to go to SmackDown, then it's like by the time they come there, I would, or actually, I'm not even gonna put all that. It gives me my fingers are crossed for her to mature once she's on SmackDown soon enough.
Sure. Yeah.
There you go. That's all I'm gonna say. I think that's the way I want.
We get 3 belts sold.
She's not gonna beat Julia.
No, I mean even just winning the tag team titles, because she is
North
American's women's champion.
Yeah,
and she's a speed champion. Yeah. If she gets the tag team champions, 3 belts sold.
That would be dope if like we start hot potatoing. Like we use Charlotte and Alexa as the anchor, and we hot potato like we had growing up. You know, Hardys.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Dudleys and whatever. I mean, I'm
Christian.
Yeah, it's a way to do that. You know, if you're really trying to establish tag teams. But then again, I think Saruka is like only a tag team for this point in time, similar to like Charlotte and Alexa. But you could do that.
I mean, they've been together for a bit.
Yeah, over a year now. So it feels like a year. Yeah.
My other mid is Javon Evans and Ray Phoenix tagging and going over Los Garzas. And it's funny how you mentioned it's just like, man, Ray Phoenix like, I'm gonna find me a tag team partner.
Yeah, that's where
he definitely was having that push, and we had a legitimate threat to him and Andrade. But once Andrade left, I was like, all right, we got to put you with somebody else, keep you in this tag team division. And I was like, all right, Javon Evans walks out of the
champion of the week here
office with Nick Aldis and say, hey, like, let's keep in touch. I think there's a spot for you here on SmackDown. Teasing him making the main roster jump and whatnot. And then immediately he was like, hey, how about we get into a match?
Yeah.
And so you knew they were gonna go over. Now I guess they're placing them. I guess we'll see Ray Phoenix and Javon Evans versus Street Profits. Probably determine number 1 contenders.
Oh yeah, titles. At this point, yeah, for sure. Street Profits just had their shot. Yeah, that would have been technically their second shot because you had the TLC match.
Yeah,
but yeah, they had already one straight up shot.
So
So they should be done with Street Profits at this point. They gotta win, I would imagine, because this will be like the third championship match in a row involving Street Profits and Wyatts. So they've been at the top.
Yeah, that was a fun match. Again,
Yeah.
Javon Evans continues to shine. Definitely going to be on the main roster sooner rather than later. But that's it for me for SmackDown. It was a pretty chill show.
Yeah, I mean, we had
they did have Randy and
I was about to
Cody,
say, yeah, the main once
you
again,
know, versus Division, which was like, okay, whatever.
Well, and that leads me to my I already mentioned it on Raw, but the shake of just like the holding pattern, like but Division is definitely the most repetitive because they're across both shows. But I do like it's interesting how it's like it is the what do you call it? The law of diminishing returns, where it's like, yes, they are over. We love them as like Division, and I like the fact that they're heels and the fact that they're on both shows. But since they are on both shows and having an impact, they're overexposed. Yeah, and it's like, it's just a mix up of on Raw, Jimmy / Jay / LA Knight, you know, or on SmackDown, Cody and Roman, or Cody and Seth. Yeah, thank you. Or no, Seth is on their side. Randy. Yeah. I feel like there's another one I'm just forgetting right now, probably. But yeah, that was the main event, and yeah, that was it for
SmackDown.
And this takes us. I might as well directly segue because, like I said, Champion of the Week. I didn't mention it because this was my. I did mention it at that point in time when I was like, I like how they're trying to convince us this is like the most important match. With like we just saw this like last week or 2 weeks ago, but then after like rewatching the match, my first Champion of the Week I thought of was I gave this the Judge Judy. I'll allow it. I said, all right, shut up. I said I'll allow it to Javon Evans and Phoenix getting the win over Los Garzas. And it's like, all right, they kind of just the fact that they made me eat my words, where it's like, all right, that was amazing. I was still getting the win. Like the finish of that, yeah, like I said, jumping over Phoenix, like holding him for the MMB and in the Mexican Muscle Buster, like spinning out, that was sick. Like that was a great. That was the longest. Well, Sammy and Alistair was the longest match. I say that was the second longest, and I got my Champion of the Week. So I was like, all right, you made me eat my words. I better not see this next week. Yeah. But like you said, maybe it's like the finals for who's the number one contender. Yeah. That would make sense, and they would win. I would have that. And do you have one?
No.
Okay. My second, I got this earlier on in the week because I actually did see this, and I was fortunate enough to actually watch Evolve slightly this week. But stealing one of yours, you like to bring up. I forgot the exact quote. Shaq, yeah. Oh shit, I was unfamiliar with the game title to Jack Cartwheel from Evolve. If you look at this spot, you bring this up.
I'm seeing it right now.
I would call this an inside-out springboard Phoenix splash. That it's like, yo, this kid is probably looking at his face. He's a fucking baby, man. This man is just at the trampoline park.
When they had Swipe Right up on there on SmackDown, I was like, I didn't know WWE started hiring 12-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like he's at a trampoline, like he's literally at a trampoline park.
Yeah.
And the most perfect, like graceful kind, like he does the Phoenix splash the way that like Montez does the frog splash.
He gets full rotation on that.
It's so clean and perfect pocket. And I would also low key call that like the Rob Van Dam launch, where he just jumps from the bottom, but it's a springboard, even more impressive. You got to get your balance and everything.
Yeah, and he does it off the top rope.
Off the top, yeah, just from the bottom to the top rope, Phoenix splash, perfect. I said, oh yeah,
check out
like that.
Check out Evolve on Tubi.
Yeah, and these young kids now, and it's running. Once again, like they want us to care about the young people, but I was like, oh, this is our first Jasper Troy sighting. Right. This would have been, who's that Pokemon? That's the other Champion of the Week. It's Jasper Troy. Like clanging his chain, and it's like, oh no, Josh Briggs actually gets the chain spot.
Yeah,
you got two guys with a chain gimmick, and Josh Briggs is more over. So yeah,
that's the week in wrestling.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the road to Crown Jewel next week, and then we still got one more week of build for
2 weeks till Wrestle Dream and 1 week until Crown Jewel. Yep.
So get some points on the line next week.
For sure.
But that's it for us, Moody.
Yeah.
Everyone find us.
Find us here on this YouTube channel mostly. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Find us on our socials at thewrestlingreup@gmail.com. And that's about it. Send us an email, all that good stuff. Follow us here and tune in for our episode 66 next week. It'll definitely be another offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So maybe like one NBA
probably
player.
until we get into around the 70s.
Yeah.
Unless we start finding like some hockey players.
Yeah.
I feel like in the 70s. Like we might.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We probably will be in offensive lineman territory until we get to the 80s.
Jared Allen, 69. Everybody loves a good 69. So
yeah. And that'll be it. We'll catch y'all next week, y'all. Peace.